So today has been a day. It's been exactly how I look. Um, it started off incredible, and it still is incredible, to be honest. But I've had to just exert a lot of energy. And initially, I planned to exert that energy. That was my goal by going to the gym and working out and doing something healthy and beneficial and careful for my body, right? Caring for myself. So not was I just depleting energy, I was also being mindful of what I was doing so that I can retain energy as well. And it was great. Joined a new gym. I love that gym. Got my boy, got my son, got his friends. They went up there. They play basketball for hours while I'm working out, red light therapy, sauna, cold plunge, massage, you name it. It's lit. It's still a great day. And then these niggas. This is literally, I gotta get, whoo, Jesus, help me, Lord. Help me, God. I love you so much, God. I love him so much. I love him because your intuition is God. That's God. He's speaking to you. You have God inside of you, okay? And often my intuition tells me things that I do not listen to. I ignore her, him. I ignore what my body and my senses are telling me. And I go against the grain, and then I'm sitting here looking like, huh, how'd this happen? But no, for real, I'm about to make a couple phone calls because before I get into what happened, maybe I'll just get into what happened. Let's just do it. Let's just record from here. I don't even really too much care what I look like right now. Because, baby, oh my gosh. Let me put at least some light on. And this is just the real, raw, like, as real as it gets. What's up and welcome back to Bad Girls Gone Good. BG3 is back. A lot has happened since we've been away, baby. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I feel like I need to backtrack instead of saying, where do we start? Let's start with the most recent and then work our way back to the beginning. So I was supposed to be getting my nails and my toes done right now. Going and getting a little manicure and pedicure. Well, I wasn't supposed to. I'm supposed to be right here talking to you guys. This was supposed to been happen. But as I was already saying to my YouTube family, because I started recording myself on video, and I'm like, you know what? Let's get this. Oh, I'm all messed up. I also boxed a little without boxing gloves today, so my knuckles are swollen and bruised, and I'm sitting up here punching my hand, my fist in hand. But anyways, I was being supposed to make this episode. I've had so many distractions. I went to jail since I last made an episode. I'm supposed to be a bad girl gone good, not a good girl acting bad. And I have acted very bad in the most recent weeks. So it's time for me to get it back together, get it back right. So let's start, like I said, move our way back. And then I gotta make a couple phone calls because I just want to clear the air with everybody and get everything off of my chest so that nothing is left unsaid. So, went to the gym today and I had a wonderful time. I found a new gym that's not too far from my house. Normally I'll go to the YMCA, and I love the YMCA. Plenty of amenities that I adore. I really appreciate. However, this gym is a little bit closer and I just like it more. I like the vibe, I like the atmosphere. It's smaller than the Y. It's just great. There's so many things. I could go on and on and on, but we'll do some sponsorship another day. It's not the time or the place. I don't even want to say their name when I say the things that I'm gonna be saying. I don't want nobody knowing. Anyways, so I went and I picked my son up and got his friends too so that they could play basketball. They played basketball for several hours. I was in there working out. I did a cold plunge, red light therapy, did the sauna, not in that order. Did a massage. It was great. It's incredible. I love this gym. I'm very glad that I found this space, honestly, and I look forward to growing in it and outside of it. I digress. So as I'm at the gym, my little yeah, that's a no. It's literally a no. From today on out, it's a no. I promise you it's a no. I promise myself it's a no. The little yeah is a no. Big time. So he paid my rent though. I will say that. And we're gonna get to all that. And I'm grateful. So the yeah, definitely yeah. But it's a no. I'm so sorry, guys. There's so much. I'm gonna use my words, I promise. So he hits me up while I'm in the gym, and he's like questioning me like my son does. And I probably used to do this too. But instead of asking I definitely did. Instead of asking the direct question that I intend to ask, I ask around it before I ask it. And I just waste so much time and so much energy. And I kind of almost create a defense in the other person because it's like, why are you asking me all these questions? So that's what was happening earlier today. He calls me, you know I'm at the gym, you know what I'm going, you know who I'm with, you know what's going on. So why are you asking me all these questions? So he's like, well, I was asking all that to say, do you guys want to go to B-Dubs? Which I don't even, anyways, we're not going to get it. So I'm like, well, I'm sure the boys might want to. Let me ask them and I'll get back with you. We're still working out or whatever. So I'll call you in a little bit. During that time, between hanging up the phone and calling him back, the Lord definitely spoke to me. My intuition said, because I told him, the first thing he asked me, not the Holy Spirit, my little no. The first thing he asked me when I answered the phone is, what are y'all going to do about food? Or one of the things that he asked me. And I was like, I don't know. I'm probably going to cook something when I get home for them or whatever. And so between the time of us getting off the phone and I need some water. Between the time of us getting off the phone and me calling him back, I knew I should not have went to B-Dubs. I did not have to go to B-Dubs at all. First of all, I don't even eat chicken like that. I like chicken, but I prefer not to. I was a pescatarian for 7 years, and I prefer that lifestyle. I do like chicken, though. I just prefer not to eat it. So, you want to go to B-Dubs, cool, whatever. These boys probably want to go to B-Dubs, so who am I to deprive them of B-Dubs, even if I don't want it? And honestly, wasn't planning on eating too much at all. I've been doing this master cleanse, and this lemonade has been enough for me drinking. I only eat when the little no is around because that's all he wanted to do is eat. And I do like eating. It makes me happy. But as well as fasting does. Fasting almost makes me more happier than eating because I know the purpose that I'm doing that for. So I had planned, it's November 1st. Second to last month of the year. Let's fast. Let's start it off with the fast. Let's get ourselves clean. We found this new gym. This is perfect. I literally was actually supposed to be going out of town, and I still might. I don't know. I'm going to pray on it, and I'm going to ask God. But I was supposed to be going out of town next week, and it was just like a perfect time to be fasting. And here he goes, you want to go to B-Dubs. I'm like, I don't have to eat. But I had this conversation with my pastor last week because fasting has been all around me. Somebody preached on it at church. It wasn't my pastor. It was a guest speaker. She's not a guest, but a different speaker. She preached on fasting. Then Wednesday, I went to my school, the Bible study that I go to, the women's Bible study. It was about fasting. And it was just like, okay, this is a season. I hear you, God. I hear you clearly. So that was my plan. But my pastor said last week, I had asked him, what do you do in situations like that when people are inviting you out to eat or you're in an environment where there's food and you don't want to be outward with what you're doing inward? So you don't want to be like, oh no, I'm not eating right now. What are you supposed to do? And he was like, you partake and you make it up on the back end, basically. So I'd never heard that. And so I was like, all right, that's what I could do here. I'll just partake for the kids' sake. It was really for the kids. Like, why would I deprive them of a meal? Me, I'm good on it because I know what it comes with. But mind you, I just want to backtrack a little bit because last night I had an amazing, incredible time. I went to this nice restaurant in Chicago, Nobu. It's actually a chain. It's in several different cities, but I've never been. A couple of cities I've lived in had it, and I've just never been, and I wanted to go. So we went, and then spontaneously, which I am spontaneity, that is almost my middle name. Some would argue and say impulse, but I like to call it spontaneity. But we went to the Usher concert after Nobu, and that was fun. That was just a good time. I love concerts. I love a good vibe. We could talk about that another day. But so last night was decent. It was good. Today started off great, incredible. Was planning on, it continuing to be great. He gave me the money for my rent yesterday as well. So, we're floating on this cloud. So I'm gonna do this for the kids and because you want to spend time with me, whatever, whatever. So we go out to meet up. It's a good time. Have a great time. He was being a little weird, I'll be honest. It almost seemed like he was showing favoritism between the friends that I had, that Nemo had that I brought with Nemo, however you say that. He was really involved in conversation with one of them, and the other one, it was almost like he didn't much exist. He made a couple comments to him. That was it. So that just rubbed me a little bit the wrong way. Like he even said to one of them, like, "Oh, I'm starting to like you more and more." Like, okay, way to make the other feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too deep into it, but I've been a kid before and I still have some childish ways to me, honestly. So I don't think I was thinking too deep in it. But I let it go. I learned to choose my battles, and boy, there's so many better left unfought. God already won, so I'm gonna just leave my hands out of it. So I did that with that situation, and long story short, because I just feel like there's so much to talk and I have so much anxiety, like thinking, how am I gonna get this all in a 30-minute episode? Just breathe and relax. So, and I'm just so grateful for my listeners. I just want to say, I love y'all so much. You don't even know. You're my best friend. I don't have no best friend no more besides God, and he's enough. But after God, I got y'all, and I'm grateful, and that's enough. And so even if it's just one person listening to me, I love you, and thank you for listening to me because you didn't have to. And I pray that you're blessed. I pray that you get more than one thing. I pray you get some things from the things that I've had to endure and some lessons that I've had to learn that maybe you don't have to learn the hard way. But thank you, because this is very therapeutic for me to just talk it through and let it be. So I pray against anxiety and I pray against the spirit of rush in Jesus' name. I speak peace over my body. I speak peace over the bodies of my listeners. And I pray that they will be blessed abundantly, beginning now and forevermore. Amen. So here we are again. Taking my son to practice, which is where he's at right now. I gotta go pick him up. So that's another reason why I feel rushed. But I feel very, I don't want to say obligated, but I feel an urgency in creating this that I've been feeling, but it just exemplified now. Anyways, sorry, I'm rambling. Take my son to football practice. And we were supposed to go, me and my little no. After we dropped my son off at football practice, we were going to go and get Manny's and Patty's. Okay? On our way to take my son, I don't know if I started it. I could have, because I don't be thinking it's going to go to the places that it go to. But I started a conversation about politics. And I know where he stands. I know he is so anti-Trump 100% and just so pro-Kamala. And we differ, okay? I'm not pro either one, to be honest. And I'm going to leave my political views out of this conversation right now. But I was just explaining to him why I wouldn't vote for either one of them. And he was very aggressive and why I should vote for Kamala. And I was just basically got to a point like so aggressive to where he's talking over me. And that's just one of my biggest pet peeves. So to avoid me getting irritated, I'm just like, how about we just don't talk about this? Like, it's cool. Like, it's fine. We could find plenty of other things to talk about. But he was very adamant on getting his points across, right? And he refused to leave the conversation as it was. He wanted to continue. So it got to a point again where, and I can do that. I've got enough peace in my life where I can have this conversation. But again, my pet peeve is when people do not give me the same respect and space that I give them. I get very offended and it hurts my feelings very greatly when that happens. So he talked over me again. And I was like, could you let me finish? And he got offended and was like, I wasn't even about to say nothing. I thought you were done and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, how? I was mid conversation. But I'm saying it exactly as I'm saying it right now. And he was just, he was so offended. And he got pissed off and started telling me how terrible of a person I am. And I don't even think he said that. I probably just heard that. I'm sure he said other things like, oh, you've been on one today, or you're just, which it could be true. I'll be honest, my period, the process started last week, so I have been a little off my rocker, just a little bit. You know, it's gradual. So this is about the peak. I'll be honest. These next few days are tough for anybody in my way, but no, for real. I have so much of the peace of God in me that literally when I was in jail, I was praying. I was screaming and crying a little bit too, but I was praying. That's the first thing I did, and I did it throughout my whole time. And we got to get to that. So, yeah, that's what happened today. And he got so mad, and I'm just basically like, well, hey, I'm glad God showed me this. I can't have this negativity around me. I'm sorry. Because if you're gonna be this upset about me asking for space to talk for the floor when it's my turn, the same thing that I give you, then we don't really, like, this is a conversation we've had for 2.5 years now. Like, why are we continuing to have it? And then you're getting mad at me about it. I'm not even mad at you. I'm just asking for the space, babe. Anyways, so that's over with. Thank God for that. And just a little bit more though, I have to touch on this. I was reading a book when I was in the sauna in the gym this morning. It's called Absolute Surrender, and my pastor gave it to me, and I love it so much. It's really positioning me to do exactly that and absolutely surrender myself to Christ, which is ultimately the way to live life. And so I knew when he said go to B-Dubs, I should have surrendered myself to Christ in that moment and been like, no, you don't have to spend time with this man. You actually need to cut this man off. But I didn't. I succumbed to my flesh, and God still was like, you actually need to cut this man off. And I just love God for that. I just love God for that. I hope he does stuff like that for you too. I know he does. Because that's just God. He's not a respecter of person. If he did it for one, he will do it for another. So let's just pray that you begin to experience. You already experienced it. I pray that you begin to acknowledge and take heed to the things that God is doing in your life, because he's doing them. It's not that God isn't moving. It's that we be stuck. We be stuck in our own ways, okay? Very Trump-like, okay? But moving on from that, the guy that wanted to marry me cut him off too, trying to give him a chance, okay? He wanted to help me out with some bills. Lord Jesus. That's my problem. I'm going to touch on this really quick, but I'm going to save the bulk of it, the meat of it, for another episode in itself. My issue, the reason why I operate as a bad girl, and I have very much so room to outgrow bad girl behaviors, is because of my lack of trust in God. I be doing things because I feel like I have to do it. I'm gonna be honest. I be feeling like it's my only way. Like sometimes it be feeling fun, but that's again me feeling like, oh, I gotta do this to enjoy myself. Like this is where pleasure comes from. And specifically this situation, like stability. Okay, this is where stability comes from. It comes from depending on people. And when people say that they're gonna help you, securing that bag, like figuring out what you need to do to make sure you get the help. And that doesn't mean like offering myself specifically, but sometimes you gotta maintain your energy. Sometimes you gotta not say things that you would normally say when you're trying to get something that you need from a person. I hope that doesn't, like, that could go over my head if somebody said that, so I hope it doesn't go over nobody else's head. But back to the guy that wanted to marry me. He said he was going to help me out with some bills. So I'm like, all right, I know I don't want to marry him, but I'm going to give him a chance to help me out with some bills. So I'm going to be quiet about the behaviors that I cannot stand of his and just put up with it when he wants to hang out with me just to secure this help or whatever. And it only lasted one time. He took me on a date, which was rather weak for a first date, I would say. The only part that I enjoyed is we went to the shrine. And I've never been to the shrine, so that was a great experience to experience for the first time. Other than that, just his presence alone is ick. I'm sorry, God, help me, Jesus. But it is. I know I've been in that season before where people have felt like that for me. So I'm not saying like, I'm too good to be ick, but I'm trying to be. I'm trying. Okay, so date was mediocre, as I mentioned, at best. Where else did we go? Little Italy. I never been to Little Italy either, so that was good. Their gnocchi was unseasoned. I had to season it when I got home, but it was pretty good. Tiramisu, that was probably the best part of Little Italy too. But yeah, I think that date, it just like drove me so far left. like ain't no help worth this much. Like my peace is at on the line here. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna need some more than financial help if I continue to hang out with this guy. So after that date, I basically was just like, yeah, no, we're not gonna be able to see each other again. God will work it out. He'll figure it out. So was able to cut that situation off. I haven't spoken with him since, thank God. And then there was the day that I went to the shrine, the same day that I went on this date, and I cut him off. Because I didn't have the help that I thought I was securing, I knew that it was going to come in another way, right? However, I did not know what way it was going to come in, okay? And the way that I thought it was coming in, that I'm about to share with you, that was not the way. If I would have considered God, even for a moment in that, I would have known that it was not the way, but I did not consider him at all. I was full of myself, and I did not allow him any room to do him. I hindered him from doing him. And I ate crap immediately because of that, as a result. And I'm grateful, to be honest. As nasty tasting as it was, the aftertaste is good. It's good because I know my only option is to elevate, is to level up. Because the moment I turn I didn't even turn all the way around, but the moment I turn my head to the side to turn back, oof, I got slapped right around, slapped straight. So yeah, I'm grateful for that experience. Won't be doing that again. I don't want to give too much detail about why I went to jail, but you can find me online at CIE Marquise, MARQUIS, on Facebook. And then my Instagram is What She Wanna, WHATSHEWANNA. The word what? The word she wanna, WANNA. All right, so if you really want to know why I went to jail, I have no problem telling you personally, one-on-one. I don't even care if you're a stranger. I'll tell you. It might help you. It might bless you. It's not that I don't want to be transparent, because I went on Facebook and I talked about it, actually. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because there was speculation that things happened that didn't happen, so I was trying to set records straight, but that was a record that didn't need to be set straight on Facebook, for sure. So I'm trying to not make the same mistake here and divulge too much detail on the situation, but just know I got in God's way. I used to be a stripper, and there was an opportunity for me to get that type of money, stripper money. And I took it. I ran with it. I'm like, oh, this is how I'm going to pay my rent right here. Look, one opportunity out the door. Here comes another one. That wasn't nobody but the devil. I didn't even consider God in that moment. And I ended up in jail. I did. I ended up in jail overnight. Almost missed my son's football game. But this is how much favor God has on my son and me. And I'm only saying that because of this specific situation. But he has favor like this over all of his children, okay? We're not special. We're not select, like his favorite, but we experience his favor in so many incredible ways. And this was just one of them. But yeah, I thought I was going to miss his game. He had to be there at 7 a.m., I believe. And I didn't get out of jail until after 11. I went in at 3 a.m. and I got out at 11. And no, I did not go back to the strip club. And I'm glad that this happened because I will never go back to the strip club. Like, okay, God, so you telling me even if I just like sniff a little bit of that lifestyle that I used to live, that the consequences are like, no, there's a lot at stake here. Like, I'm in seminary school. He's got plans for my life, and he would love to bless me in so many ways that he just cannot until I elevate. And that was not a moment of elevation for me. Clearly, that was a growing moment, a learning lesson moment. So, yeah, I was in jail 3 to 11. My son was supposed to be at his football game by 7 to warm up and whatnot. And, or we were supposed to be leaving by 7. Yeah, I was freaking out. I felt like a terrible mother. Like, that's what ate me up. Because as soon as I got to jail, I actually started praying. And I was like, I know this is nothing. Like, I'm about to get out of here. I got my money. If don't nobody, like, you know, like, I could buy myself out. So it wasn't a huge deal to me, but it was just like, I'm not supposed to be doing this. Like, this is old. Like, why am I here? And then again, considering the time frame, I'm just like, all right, I'm just finna pray. But then as the hours started to go by and the hours started to go by, I was like, ooh, baby, what type of mother are you? That's what I kept telling myself. Like, what type of mother are you to put yourself in this type of situation? And not to add on the fact that the guards were making me feel like a crappy mother too. Because I was begging them. I'm like, do y'all have kids? Y'all don't understand why I need to, because I didn't get no phone call. I did not even get processed until I got bonded out. They actually told my mom, no, you can't come bond her out right now because she's praying too much, which is crazy. That's not what they said. They said she's not cooperating. Well, I wasn't. Give me a phone call. Like, let me know something. Like, my son is at home by himself. So they're like, you should have thought about that before you left him at home. You should have, I'm not even going to say the things that they said to me, but they were very, very foul things. So I was feeling really horrible, but the favor of God is what I'm probably going to close this out with or start to line this episode up. The other team didn't even show up. They didn't even show up. The other team that my son was supposed to play, they didn't show up. So my son's team didn't have to play, and they won by default. And I could literally, like, I am probably about to cry right now. Because God does not have to do certain things. But he does them just to show his love for us and his grace and his mercy. Because even though I had stepped so far out of line just by turning my, you know, it's really you're hot or you're cold. That's what he says. So even though I say I didn't turn all the way around, I did. I turned my back on God. I didn't consider him. And I deserved to feel as terrible as I did. But his grace and his mercy said no. It wouldn't allow me to carry that guilt and that shame. God loves me that much that he knows that I would have carried guilt and shame from that. And it probably would have taken me a long time to get over it. And so he didn't add that to my list of worries. Self-proclaimed worries, because I don't have anything to worry about. And like I said, rent got paid. It's the 2nd. Oh, bills are paid. I got money in the bank. I have tickets to go out of town next week, but I don't know if I'm gonna go. I just want to do whatever God needs me to do right now in this season. I really do want to be absolutely surrendered to him, which is why I'm on camera crying right now, looking a complete, utter mess. I got my windows wide open. People could probably see me outside. But I feel great. I do. I feel grateful. Grateful that God has removed. And this is no jab at anybody personally, but he's removed the lesser than so that he can provide me with greater. Even when I was so stubborn and I was holding on and I didn't want to let go out of my own selfish fears. It's crazy. It's so crazy. I'm about to go. Hey, gotta get off here. But I started seeing a therapist. It's been a while since I've seen a therapist. I had one for several years after my divorce. And I love her. And I knew I was never going to top her. I tried a couple times, but I found somebody. And we were doing an intake, like, post-traumatic stress disorder, OCD, like seeing how, like, checking the box and adding it up to see where I measure on the scale or whatever. And one of the questions was about fear or terror. And I answered the questions honestly, or so I thought, because I was very vulnerable. There were some questions I didn't want to answer honestly that I did. But for that one, I felt like I don't struggle with fear. Like, I'm not afraid of anything. Like, I do what I want to do and I suffer the consequences, which is not healthy by any means. But so, like, I checked no on that one, that I don't. She didn't really have any questions about any of the other questions or assessments that I did. But she was kind of concerned about that one. And she was like, it doesn't make sense because you answered yes to these ones, but you answered no to fear. And, got my hard body on. I'm trying to tell her what I just said. Like, yeah, because, I'm not afraid of what will happen for real. I just do what I do and I suffer the consequences. Told her verbatim, pretty much. And she was like, but if you had a fear, what would be your biggest fear? Not about something happening to anybody you love or anything like that, but like personally, for you personally. And I had to think about it. And I said, probably not being able to correct my reputation, like not being able to come back from decisions that I've made, bad girl choices, right? And she was like, that's a fear. That's a fear. And so I'm going to leave this episode encouraging my one listener, even if it be one. But I thank God that it's more. Fear God, and allow him to take care of all the other worries, because he will. And our fear and anything else, my fear of being unstable, not being able to pay rent, my fear of losing people that I love, my fear of coming off some type of way, my fear of not being heard, my fear of whatever is covered under the blood of Christ. And he paid the price for it all. So all I need to fear is him. He already handled that. And if I fear him, everything else is taken care of. So I encourage you to absolutely surrender yourself to the fear of God. And not in a means of, I learned this during my first semester, not in a means of fearing his wrath so much, but fearing how awesome and loving and kind he is. Like, I'm afraid to hurt God, to be honest. Like, dang, because I'll be hurt, right? I'll be hurt. God is so incredible because he just gave me a situation today to grow and to become strengthened. And he gave me multiple situations, but this one specific one that I feel like I became more like him. A friend had called me. She was going through a situation. And when I got off the phone with her, my little no was like, you be talking about you don't have no friends. And look, people calling you asking for advice. And my immediate response was, yeah, she's calling me asking for advice. I don't call her and ask her for advice. I'm a friend. Like, we don't talk. Actually, to be honest, she only called me because she wanted something. And I just began to like spew things, and my mind just began to fill with things that were so untrue. It was untrue. It's not true. Like, you're a dumping station. Nobody really likes you. They just use you. This, that, and the third. Like, blah, blah, blah. Lies. And I just had to call Say Now and be like, no, I'm strong enough. I'm strong enough. I don't need nobody but God. So me going to people, what can she do for me? And I don't mean that in no disrespectful way. I love her and I will continue to be her friend, whatever she needs from me. But it's nothing I need from her other than our friendship. Like, that's cool. Like, I don't know. God is enough. God is enough. And I'm not looking to replace him with nobody at all, not even myself. my own selfish desire. So I don't know what this episode was about. It was kind of just like a crazy third episode, just returning to real life because I was off in the abyss for the past few weeks, which is why you didn't get any episodes. But I'm back. We reeled it in. Oh, calls for a lot of entertainment, that's for sure. A lot of humiliation, a little bit of embarrassment too, for sure. I lost my best friend also. She didn't want to be connected to me. She felt like because she felt like I made unsafe situations and drained her and things like that. So, whatever. We're friends for almost 10 years, but it is what it is. God is doing his thing. He's doing his thing. He's telling me he's all I need. And he's working it all out. So he is all I need. I love him so much. And I love you. And I thank you for coming back and come back again because this is literally just the beginning. Like, this should be the first episode because I was still a bad girl. Now I'm going good.